संकीर्तन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. You are all welcome Good morning, Bhagvatam class at Shri Krishna Balaram Mandir, ISKCON Vrindavan. With my humble obeisance to Prahlad Maharaj, Brother Bhagavad Swami Maharaj and all the senior Vaishnavas. We are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, 10th canto, 54th chapter, the marriage of Krishna with Rukmani. And we are in this section which says Rukmi gate released, and this is from verse number 32 through 36. So next section also we have to complete today till verse 40. So we are starting from verse 35. So let us recite this verse. Chailena badhva tamas asadhukarinam sasam sharukesham pravapan virupaya tvam mamaradhuho parasenyam adabhutam yado praviraha nalinam yatha gajaha jailena badhva tamasadhukaritam sasam shrukesham pravapan vyarupaya tavan mamurdoho parasenya adbhutam yado praviranalinam yatha gajaha jailena badhva tam asadhukarinam sasam shrukesham pravapan vyarupaya tavan mamarodha parasenya adbhutam yado pravira nalinam yatha gajaha chailena badhva tamasadhukarinam sasam shrokesham pravapan vyarupayat tavan mamardoho parasenya adbhutam yado pravira nalinam yatha gajaha Trailam badhva tamasadhukarinam sasam sachrokesham pravapam vyarupayat tavan samraho parasenya adbhutam yado pravira nalinam yatha gajaha chailena badhva tamasadhukarinam sasam shrukesham pravapan vyarupayat tavam mridoho parasenya adbhutam yado pravira nalinam yatha gajaha chailena badhva tamasadhukarinam यथा प्रवादलिनं माताजी चैलेन बद्ध्वा तमसाधुकारिणम् संशरुकेशं प्रविपं प्रपूर्य तावन्नमृदोः परसेन्य अद्भुतम् यदो प्रवीरनलिनं यथा गजाः चैलेन बद्ध्वा तमसाधुकारिणम् ससंशरुकेशं प्रवपं व्यरूपय तावन्नमृतोः परसेन्य अद्भुतम् यदो प्रवीर्णनिनं यथा गजाः चैलेन with the strip of cloth badhva tying up tam him asadhukarinam the evil doer sa sanshrukesham leaving some of his mustaches and hair remaining Pravapan by saving him Vyarupaya made him disfigured Tavat by then Mamarduho they had cursed Para opposing Sainyam army Adbhutam extraordinary Yadu Praviraha the heroes of the Yadu dynasty Nalli name the lotus flower Yatha as Gajaha elephants translation and one line purport by the disciples of divine grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna tied up the evildoer with a strip of cloth. He then proceeded to disfigure Rukmi by comically shaving him, leaving parts of his mustaches and hair. By that time, the Yadu heroes had cursed the extraordinary army of their opponent, just as the elephant curses a lotus flower. Lord Krishna used his same sharp sword to give the wicked Rukmi a peculiar haircut. So we have to go a long way to finish up to 40 verse. So in this verse, first just have this wonderful analogy is given that the father of Rukmi is like, Bhishma is like a milk ocean. And he has Rukmani came out of the churning of the milk ocean as Lakshmi. But the first elder son Rukmi is like halal poison. So this is the simile given that the father of Rukmani is like a milk ocean and the first son born is like churning of the milk ocean and the poison came. So Rukmi is poison. And the daughter Rukmani, Ruk actually means ray of sun. So she is shining like a ray of sun, and she is expansion of Radharani, which is full Tapta Ganjan Gaurangi, and all the queens of the Dwarka are Bimba Pratibimba of Radharani. So Rukmani is Lakshmi. She came out of that ocean. So Rukmi is here. The verse says, Chailena means piece of cloth. From where Krishna got this piece of cloth? From the turban of Rukmi himself. He got first his turban with his sword, cut a piece of that. With his left hand, he hold the head of Rukmi. Like putting there's a piece of cloth he put around the neck of Rukmi, and with his left hand, he's holding like that. This is Acharya write that. So cloth he got from Rukmi's own turban and put around his neck and left. With his right hand, he was doing something, Sa Sanksharu Kesham. And the word is Prapan. Pravapan means shaving. With what? Which instrument is using? His own sword. Krishna is using his own sword. And the word Samarashu Kesham means he's making a design. He's cutting some cases on the right side and leaving some here and cutting some left on this, making a beautiful designs there. And one side mustache and other side beard. So he comically he cut his haircut. Why? Asadhu karinam. Because he is an evil doer. What is evil he has done? The evil he has done is the Rukmani who wanted to marry Krishna, the father and mother also were willing to hand over the Rukmani to Krishna. He become evil doer and giving to the Rukmani to the Shishupal, which is going to be killed by Krishna. So what he was doing is the greatest evil action he was doing. Therefore, Krishna comically cut his hair. What is the result of that cutting hair? Virupayat. Rup means figure. Virupa means disfigured. So he was now disfigured. And in a Vedic culture, cutting the hair means killing somebody. It's as good as killing. Generally, when we shave our head, it means we are dead for the world. We are only now in service of Krishna. That is the message, that when we cut hair, it means we are dead for the world. This is the Vedic culture. So you are dead for the world. And now you are only completely dedicated to Krishna. There is every fortnight when we cut hair, this should be the consciousness. Cutting hair means renouncing the world. It means I am dead for the world. For the world I am dead, but for Krishna I am fully in service. Now this is these two lines speak of that, and for that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Rukmi, Krishna is thinking, Rukmi should never come and do mischief again. Thinking thus, Krishna was thinking, this Rukmi should not do the mischief again. So Krishna showed his contempt for Rukmi by making his body with some ugly figure to let him remember his defeat and dissolve his pride. Two things. Therefore, some commentators say, sometime Krishna actually picked the hair along with root, that they should never grow again. It means his disfigurement will continue till he live, so he will remember I was defeated and his pride was smashed. So this was the purpose of Sri Krishna. So he wanted to smash his pride and remember him that he is defeated. So that is he picked some hairs from the roots, so they will never grow again. That is the comment of some acharyas. Krishna tied him up by the neck with a wrap of cloth, using his left hand. While holding up the two ends of that cloth, Krishna took his sword in his right hand, knocked off Rukmi's turban, and then shaved off bits of his mustaches, beard, and hair at the root. That's at the root. Drying blood, which means they should never grow again, and there should be beautiful marks on his head for future to remember. With scraps of remembering here and there, Rukmi looked completely disfigured. So this is the one side. The other side is by that time. So you remember the scene. Scene is like that. On one side, Jarasandha, Sushupal, Shalva, and all the Dandavakar, all the enemies of Krishna and Yadus, they were having their camp. And all of a sudden Krishna arrived there and followed by Balaram with one, say, Akshuni of Yaduvanshi army. Everybody said, how come they came? Who invited them? This was a big discussion there. Who invited them? Bhishma wrote the letter of invitation. Rukmi did not dispatch it. So Rukmi said, I never dispatched. How come they came? So there was a confusion whether they came in the marriage of Shishupal because he is related to Krishna. They both have the same, the mothers are sisters. But Maharaj Bhishma arranged very nice arrangement for Krishna and all Yaduvanshis. Jarasandha said, well, now there is a risk because these animals are here. Anybody can, kidnap would be Shishupal's, what's called, bride, okay? So they arranged the military on both sides of the road, on the horses and on the elephants, vigilant with the all weapons, that nobody should, no bird should fly there. They were so vigilant. And on that day, as Rukmani wrote in a letter to Krishna, I will be alone with the elder Brahman ladies and some my friends. So Rukmani was going alone with some Brahman lady and some friends into the Ambika temple for worship. And during the worship, Panditji was saying, worship Ambika, and Rukmani is saying, Ambika, please bless me that I should get Krishna as my husband. She was saying this in a halt along with the other mantra, and she came out. So when she came out with her left hand, she simply moved her hair a little back, and she looked, and seeing her charming face, it was like mesmerizing. All the soldiers from their elephant and horses along with their weapon, they fell down like a ripened fruit on the ground. So actually Rukmani has arranged everything for her to be kidnapped. It's not Krishna has done much effort. Rukmani has arranged everything. Now all of a sudden, sometime you visit this Kondanipur where we have a beautiful ISKCON temple. And that ISKCON temple has a one tree called Parijat tree. They call Kalpavriksha Parijat tree. So many local people come and worship that tree. And it is said that Krishna has kept his chariot under that tree at that time. And there is a small river, and other side is a temple of Ambika. So from there, Krishna immediately He just reached there, he just put his hand down, and Rukmani immediately caught hold of the hand, and Rukmani is on the chariot. And Krishna has taken the Rukmani as lion take his share from the surrounding of the, what is called? Jackals, Gidar. Gidar se share apna bhag le gaya from the jackals, right? This is the scene. And now, when Rukmani is kidnapped, everybody, what happened? But how long they will fight? They came for a marriage party, not for fighting actually. So their mood was not fighting mood. They were there in a feasting mood. So the whole army came up, and Rukmani asked, what will happen to Krishna? He said, don't worry, Balaram and my army will take care of them. So this verse says, Tavan, by that time, Mamrush Parasenya Adbhutam. Wonderfully, the opponent armies were crushed by Yadu Pravira. Yadu Pravir means great soldiers of Yadu. Balaram, Gadda, they were the powerful soldiers. They were a big army there of so many generals. Jarasandha's army was there, Shishupal's army was there, Rukmi's army was there. But this Yaduvanshi army, this is the word Nalnim is a singular. And Gaja is plural. Gaja means elephant. Nalni is like a flower, say lotus. It means that whole army is like a lotus flower for these great elephants who are the Yaduvanshis. They uprooted everything and everything was finished. So two things are happening simultaneously. On one side, Rukmi is disfigured by Krishna. And the other side, Rukmi's army was defeated wonderfully by Yadu army. Now next scene. Now the Yaduvanshis are going to reach to Krishna. So when they reach to Krishna, what happened? That is the next verse. Okay, this verse I think I have to chant. Lagu Bhagavatam has said the same thing almost. Okay, this is the next verse. Krishna nitikam upavrajya drish. I have to read, I think there are many verses, we have done that. Krishna nitikam, near to the Krishna. Upavrajya, when they were approaching Krishna's chariot. Dadrishu tata Rukmani, they saw that Rukmi with a great shame, his head down as if he is dead. So Dadrishu tatra Rukmanim, they saw the Rukmani also. Tatha Bhutam hat prayam drishtva Sankrishno vivuhu vimuchya baddham Karuno Bhagavan Krishnam Abravit. So what happened is this scene now, the translation. As the Yadu, whole army along with Balaram, approached Lord Krishna, means his chariot, they saw Rukmi in his sari condition, disfigured, with a great shame, his head down, almost like dead. Practically dying shame. When all-powerful Lord Balaram, Sankrishna Bhagavan, saw Rukmi, why word Bhagavan is used? When he saw Rukmi, he compassionately released him and spoke the following to the Krishna. There's no purport to this verse, but the Acharya writes few lines. Why Bhagavan? Balaram was knowing. He has now two things in mind, Balaram's. One thing is Rukmani. She is completely divested, because seeing her brother, though against her in that position, and she is new in this company, she never saw before Krishna. So Balaram wanted to please Rukmani and satisfy Rukmani. This was his first intention. And second intention, he was knowing what are the future pastime of Krishna, that this Rukmi is now, he is released. How he released? He went all the way to the chariot. Balaram went all the way to the chariot, and in the left hand of Krishna, that was that piece of cloth by which the Rukmi he was holding. He took the piece of cloth from Krishna's hands, and he released Rukmi. Who released Rukmi? Balaram. Why? Because of compassion. But this is surprising. He is Bhagavan, he is knowing that he is to be killed by me, not by Krishna. Because Balaram is going to kill Rukmi in upcoming pastime, when the son of Pradyumna is going to marry the daughter of Rukmi. At that time, on a dice, Rukmi will be insulting Balaram, and Balaram will kill the Rukmi. So as a Bhagavan, he was knowing the future pastime. So he said, it's not Krishna for you to kill, he is my share. So now leave him alone. In this situation, because particularly Rukmani needs to be pacified and satisfied. Therefore he spoke to Krishna as the elder brother now. What he is saying, let's listen. Chakravarti Pad, out of compassion, Balaram took the cloth from Krishna. Balaram took the cloth from Krishna. Was holding in his left hand and released Rukmi from the noose. He released Rukmi from noose. So now what Rukmi is doing? He's simply just sitting there, helpless. Next. Laghu Vaishnava Toshni says, Yadu hero saw Rukmani, that disfigured condition, almost dead from shame. But it is not proper to release such an offender. Balaram was omniscient Bhagavan, and like Rukmani, he knew the suffering of Rukmi and the future pastime of Krishna. These all things are noted by Sanatana Goswami Pad and Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. So he was knowing this is what is in the future. So Rukmi was related to Krishna's first wife. Seeing both Krishna and Rukmani, Balaram, filled with shame, spoke them both. Krishna only is mentioned, since Balaram spoke to him mainly, but he spoke to both. What he spoke, this is the verse. Asadvaidam tvaya Krishna kritam asamajjugasvitam vyapanam sanshasu keshanam vairupyam swirdo vada. Balaram is mildly chastising Krishna as a younger brother to appease Rukmani. He is saying, Lord Balaram said, my dear Krishna, you have acted improperly. It says, actually the word says, us means we, all. Is including himself. This deed will bring shame to us. Yaduvanshi never do like that. With whom? For to disfigure a close relative by shaving off his mustaches and hair is as good as killing him. You have not done good thing, Krishna. He's our relative. He's a brother of your first wife. This is not Yaduvansi's behavior, standard and morality. You have done something wrong. Asadvi. This is not praise. Asadvi kirtam. Tvam. Krishna. And purport. Omniscient Balaram knew that Rukmini was the guilty party, but to encourage the lamenting Rukmini, he decided to gently reproach Sri Krishna. Chakravarti Pad writes, Balaram said, death itself would have been more proper than shaving him with your sword. Krishna, better you should have killed him. This is worse than that. Which has made his face ghastly. Balaram gently reproached Krishna in order to console the lamenting Rukmini. Internally, however, Chakravarti Pad said, internally, however, Balaram was thinking, oh most clever brother, you have done what is proper and acted quite rightly. This is interesting. Internally he is thinking, what's wonderful you have done, my brother, perfect. But externally he was showing anger, younger brother, not good thing. Okay. This expressing satisfaction, Balaram spoke this verse. Thus expressing satisfaction, Balaram spoke this verse. Though Rukmini is factually an enemy, not a friend, in this verse Balaram sarcastically call him Sohirta. He is not Sohirta, he is not well-wisher. He is Dohirta. He is our enemy. But he used this word which means well-wisher, friend or brother-in-law. He said Sohirta. But actually he is not. And it's Laghu Bhagavad Vaishnava Toshni says, Balaram addressed Krishna by his principal name because of his arousal of affection as his elder brother. Krishna, he said Krishna. It means he has affection for Krishna. So he said like that, we are winners now. We got Rukmini, we defeated them. So he was actually jubilant to say Krishna. It's not proper for the Vaishnavis who are most famous, with you as its crowning achievement, to do a condemned action. What was that action? Out of shame. Balaram did not mention it in the beginning. So in the beginning, Balaram is not saying in his address at the end, because he was feeling, to the Rukmini, he's showing that we are feeling really ashamed for doing this, disfigurement of your brother. But there's 17 and a half verses spoken by Balaram. And a lot of philosophy will come. So he will talk to Krishna, he will talk to Rukmini, he will talk to Krishna, he will go to the Rukmini, back and forth. And ultimately he will say, by the way, Rukmini, is he really your brother? He was actually against your will, and getting you married to the Shishupal. Still you think he is your brother? My God. Balaram ultimately somehow convinced Rukmini and she was pacified. So it says further, out of shame Rukmini, Balaram did not mention it in the beginning. He then mentioned it in the last line. You shaved his head, but it is not a small punishment, for you disfigured him also. He criticized Krishna to pacify Rukmini. He thought he can be criticized because he is related to me. He is my younger brother. I have a right, I can say this to him, to pacify Rukmini. Rukmini then become ashamed of her by scolding Krishna. Now Rukmini also become ashamed because Balaram is chastising Krishna just first meeting of Krishna and Rukmini, and Balaram is chastising Rukmini. So Rukmini was also ashamed for by scolding Krishna. She also became scolded. He did this to teach Krishna. This was his mercy. That is understood in later verses as well. This is the commentary by Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. The next verse. Now, Balaram is addressing to Rukmani. Maevasam sadhavi asuyatha Bhratur vairupya chintaya Sukha dukha dona chanyasti Yata swakarta bhuka kuman. She is addressing Rukmani. Saintly lady Sadhavi. Sadhavi. Saintly lady. Do not be displeased. The word is asuya. Asuya, this is very common word in our whole philosophy. Suya means finding fault in somebody. Asuya means don't find fault among us. So this asuya, Krishna says, those who are anasuya way, those who don't find in me, they can understand the knowledge about me. Anusuya way. Anusuya means not finding fault anybody. So please, Rukmani, don't find fault in us. Why? He will tell a next verse to Rukmani. That for a Kshatri, for a warrior class, Brahma has ordered that in a war he can kill his brother. What can we do? So don't find fault in us. This is part of the dharma, swadharma of a Kshatriya. So don't find fault in us. Displeased with us out of anxiety for your brother's disfigurement. Next line, Bhratru viprupya chintaya. Because you are chintaya means you are in anxiety. Chintaya, chinta kar rahi ho. Chintaya about your brother's disfigurement. Please, no one but oneself, now the philosophy, no one but oneself is responsible for one's joy and grief. For a man experiences the result of his own deeds. So it is the karma of Rukmi. So don't really get upset with us for your brother's disfigurement. Chakravarti Pad writes, to dispel Rukmani's sadness, Balaram reasons with her in this verse. Everyone must enjoy or suffer the result of his acts. What is this useless affection for this most wicked person who acts against your own husband? Balaram gently scolded Rukmani also. Chakravarti Bhatt said, he scolded Rukmani also. This person you are lamenting for, and anxiety for, he is against your husband. He wanted to kill your husband. He came here to kill your husband. What do you think? So he deserved this punishment because this is his own wrongdoing. Right? This is what Balaram's mood is. And Laghu Vaishnava Toshni says, though Balaram spoke to Krishna in this way, Rukmani did not give up her grief. So, first verse, Balaram told Krishna, please, this is not good for our Krishna. We never do like that with our relative. But still, Rukmani was grief stricken. Therefore, though Balaram spoke to Krishna in this way, Rukmani did not give up her grief. He then consoled her directly in this verse. Do not ascribe fault to Krishna. This is the first word, asuya. Don't find fault with Krishna. Don't find fault with Krishna and others. Others means we also actually did something to your brother's army. That is also defeated. Do not ascribe fault to all, even if there is a cause. On the other hand, happiness and distress are not caused by others, but by oneself, just since the Jiva, Puman, enjoy the result of his karma. So this is Balaram's philosophical explanation along with this situation. Now the next verse. We are in verse 39. Bandhor vadhartha doshapi na bandhor vadam varati. Now he is again talking to Krishna. Tyajaha swainaiva doshena hata kim hanyate punaha. Again addressing Krishna, Balaram said, a relative should not be killed even if his wrongdoing warrants capital punishment. A principle, relative should not be killed even if his wrongdoing warrants capital punishment. So he is our relative. He should not need to. Rather, he should be thrown out of the family. So this is a Vedic custom that if some relative done something wrong and needs capital punishment, excommunicate from the family. It's a principle. It's this principle, like if the finger is giving trouble to the whole body, then cut the finger and save the body. If one person in the family is giving a disrespect to the family, get that person out. This is the philosophy spoken by Vidur to Dhritarashtra when Duryodhan was speaking ill about the Pandavas and particularly Vidura. At that time, he was telling at that time, this is the principle or this is the philosophy. So, Balaram is speaking, he should be thrown out of the family since he has already been killed by his own sin. Why kill him again? So by his sin he is killed, why to kill him again? So let him go. I think most of us all are aware that Rukmani pleaded, please don't kill my brother. And Krishna spared the life of Rukmi, but then he disfigured him. So purpose is to further encourage Lady Rukmani. Balaram again emphasized that Krishna should not humiliate Rukmi. Not humiliate Rukmi. So again, so he is speaking back again to, and Chakravarti Pad writes 2 lines. In order to satisfy Rukmani, Balaram instructs Krishna in morality in this verse. So this is the morality. What is the rule in a family? A relative should not be killed by a relative, and a brother-in-law should not be killed by a sister's husband. So he is your brother-in-law. So he need not to be killed. On Laghu Vaishnava Toshan he says, seeing her still in grief, Balaram then scolded Krishna in order to remove her grief. The relative should not be killed by a friend, Bandhu. He should be rejected. This shows that he should be disrespected but cannot be killed. Just as killing a person who should not be killed is a fault. Not killing a person who should be killed is a fault. But he is killed by his own fault. What is the use of again killing this person who is killed by rejection of society, which is equivalent to death? What it means? This means he already has announced there, if I will not be able to get my younger sister Rukmani back from Krishna, I will not come in this city of, what is the Vidarabha. I will not come in Vidarabha. So it means he is not going to his all family and relative back. So he is already excommunicated with them. He is going to establish his new city called Bhojkat. And he is only the one person during Mahabharata war who was not accepted by Kauravas and Pandavas both. Rukmi was not accepted by Pandavas, not accepted by Kauravas. He was the only at that time the Kshatri who did not take part in the war. So, because he was too proud, still he was proud at that time. So they both rejected him. So this says, rejection society. Society has rejected, means both Kaurava and Pandava rejected in future, in upcoming war also. By giving Rukmani to another person, he has been ostracized. Disfiguring him is death, since it causes more grief than death itself. It's more than death. Disfigurement is more than death. Last verse for today. Now Balaram is again addressing Rukmani. Kshatriyanam ayam dharmaha prajapati vinirmitaha Bhratrapi bhratram hanyat yena ghoratamastataha. Turning to the Rukmani, Balaram continued again to the Rukmani. The code of sacred duty for warriors established by Lord Brahma enjoins that one may have to kill even his own brother. That is indeed a most dreadful law. It's a Kshatri law. Brother can kill brother, father can kill father. This is all whole this Kurukshetra war. The brother were killing brother. And one Srila Prabhupada saw this picture of Krishna and Arjuna of Bhagavad Gita. So looking at that picture and said, Krishna has to kill all his relatives to get his photo with Krishna. It's not easy to get the photo with Krishna. Arjuna has killed all his relatives. Then he got his photo with Krishna. So it's a big sacrifice he has done. So this is a very, the word is dreadful. This is very dreadful dharma. Sanskrit word is, this is ghoratam. Ghora, ghoratar, ghoratam. Ghora, ghoratar, ghoratam. It means it is ghora, it means it is, what the word should be for ghora. Here say ghoratam means terrible. Terrible, more terrible, most terrible. It's ghoratam. Then there is a purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Lord Balaram, in the interest of fairness, is giving a complete analysis of the situation. Of the situation means all this, what happened during the marriage of Rukmani, fight. Although one could not kill a relative, there are extenuating circumstances according to the military codes. In the American Civil War, which took place in the 1860s, many families were divided between the army of the North and that of the South, and thus fratricidal killing unfortunately became a common affair. Such killing is certainly ghoratam, most dreadful, yet such is the nature of the material world, where duty, honor, and so-called justice, three things, duty, honor, and so-called justice often create conflict. Only on the spiritual platform in pure Krishna consciousness can we transcend the unacceptable pain of material existence. Rukmi was maddened by pride and envy, thus could not understand anything about Krishna or Krishna consciousness. Chakravarti Pad writes, Balaram speak again to Rukmani, who was saying in her mind, means Rukmani was saying in her mind, your younger brother does not know this rule. Which rule? The relative should not be killed. Balaram said, the scripture order that one should even kill one's brother. What to speak? Then a brother-in-law who is so wild. What to speak? A brother can be killed. So what to speak of brother-in-law? And who is also very wild. And then few lines from Laghu Vaishnav Toshni. Since she still did not give up her grief, he again tried to enlighten him by showing Swadharma of Kshatriya. This dharma of Kshatriya, obligatory action generated by karma, is that a brother must kill his brother in just war. Just war. Just war means dharma yuddha. This is dharma because it has been created by Brahma. This means it is directed by Vedas. Therefore, this is terrible. This is terrible rule. Since it involves killing a brother, Sridhar Swami agrees with this meaning. And here we end our today's quota of the verses. So, Balaram is trying to pacify Rukmani, and for that he was mildly saying some words as elder brother to Krishna, which has double meanings. And then Balaram's discourse will continue upcoming more, almost 12-14 more verses, till Rukmani is pacified. Then Rukmi is released, and he will go and create his own village, and then this whole Yaduvanshi army, Krishna and Rukmani, will come back to Dwarka at a place which is called Madhavpur, where Rukmani and Krishna get married. So there are 3 marriages of Rukmani and Krishna according to the Vedic knowledge. First is called Gandharva marriage, by love letter. Second is called Rakshas marriage, kidnapping. It's called Rakshas marriage according to the marriage they kidnapped. And third is called Vedic marriage, when now it will come beautifully decorated whole Dwarka with the elephants and coming. The Pandavas came and Maharaj Bhishmak also came, and there was a real big marriage of Krishna and Rukmani in Dwarka. So there are 3 marriages, the Gandharva, the Rakshas and the Vedic between them. So now this Balaram will continue for at least a couple more days. There it was in a few minutes, but we have to go for a couple of days. So here ends. Any wise words of advice, Maharaj? Any comment or question? Sadhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Usually we hear about giving up our attachment to family, home, relatives, dear ones, because these are the things that bind us to this world. It seems like here it's full of intrigue of family and relationships. And how do we see that fine line of distinction between family and renunciation, and also really putting our heart and mind into our family?
I think in Kunti Maharani's prayer, this is very nicely explained. First Kunti says, my relation with Pandavas and Yadavas, Krishna cut. Then Krishna looked and says, I am also Yadava, what do you think? This is no. My mind should always think of you like Ganga is coming from Gangotri to the Ganga Sagar, to the ocean of milk. And then Prabhupada writes in purport that Kunti is thinking, well, these Pandavas are devotees, Yadavas are devotees. How can I serve Krishna without serving devotees? So how can I cut my relation with my relatives if they are devotees? Then she said, Prabhupada writes, it is only the skin disease that needs to be cut. The relationship should be cut at the level of the skin disease, not at the level of, well, if the whole family is devotee, so this whole family is not only devotee, but they are all the eternal associate of Krishna. So this family is not the material family. They are eternal associate of Krishna. So their pastime teaches us that if our family is all devotees, then like Kunti Maharani, we should have attachment based on Krishna, because they all are servant of Krishna, therefore we always have relation with them. If they have no relation with Krishna, then we have no relation with anybody. So this is a principle for the family. The skin disease has to be treated. But therefore this is the only difference really between the Krishna conscious movement and the rest of the religions of the world. The religions of the world are on a bodily concept. Because I am born Hindu, so I am Hindu. You are born Christian, you are Christian. But it's spiritual. Just Krishna consciousness is a movement which is based on the soul. Prabhupada says science of the soul and science of love of God. So we are only the religious movement which is speaking of the science of soul and science of love of God. So it's encompassing, this is encompassing the spiritual movement actually. There's a big difference between the religions which fight and between the spiritual movement which we are. There's a big difference really. And President of India, Abdul Kalam, from Vrindavan, we took a prasad of Janmashtami to him once. And we entered, he said, oh, so you are from? I'm Krishna inspired. I said, we are a spiritual movement. He said, welcome. I love spiritual people, but religious people fight. He said, religious people fight. Please, you are spiritual, go and stop this fighting between the religious people. He told like that. So we are a spiritual movement basically. It is beyond bodily platform. Relations are at the bodily platform. But Krishna's relation with Yadavas, they are his eternal associate, came from the Dwarka. They are not ordinary person. Only the demigods enter into that for a time being, which will be separated in a due course of time, but the eternal associate will continue, having their pastime. It's okay, sir? My Dandvat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Bhagvatam ki jai. Yes, Prabhu.
Through this scene which we are seeing here, that Krishna has got the disfigured me. Similar thing we see that when the Arjuna takes the vow that are going to kill Aswathama, and in the assembly, Draupadi says Muncha Munchi, leaving. Yudhishthira Maharaj says leaving. Bhim says no, killing. He's in dilemma, and he looks for the Krishna for guidance. And Krishna says, you decide, I won't tell you anything. The same thing at that time, he disfigures the...
That's which is as good as killing, because Krishna said, in a Vedas, I said, the aggressor should be killed.
Yes.
Also, I had a principle that Brahman should not be killed physically. So now you are intelligent, you decide, please Draupadi, please Bhima, and please also me. So Arjun was intelligent, he said Brahman should not be killed. Shaving his head and taking his jewel is worse than killing him. So he did that. Right? So it's a bad. So therefore I say every fortnight we shave, it means we are dead for the world. That is actually the great message that we should take. We are dead for the world, we are only for Krishna. That is the meaning of shaving head. I must shave today. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahaprana ki jai, Vidai Gaur Premanande.